MJBulls is proud to produce the Raising Cannabis Capital podcast. Today's episode will begin after this brief message from our sponsor.
This ain't no desk job, but it's what you got to do to scale up to this in a single growing season. It's how in Oregon alone we grew and harvested the single largest crop of CBG in the world. Grit, tenacity, hell, whatever you want to call it. The crew at Hamptown USA has it by the bucket load. Just getting our seeds in the ground back in spring and growing them till fall was nothing short of heroic. Propagation, planting, maintaining what we have, and building what we need. Trust me, this shit ain't easy. But when it comes to harvest time, our team bumps the bar up to a whole new level. Next comes processing. Everything but the top flower goes off to get turned into crude, distillate, isolate, and water-soluble ready. Our product, like our team, is nothing less than best in class. This plant has always had the power to change the world, but it needs people to make it happen. We're lucky to have those people right here at Hamptown USA.
The companies in those phases are typically growing extremely quickly, and raising meaningful capital can be a full-time job, as is a company that's growing very quickly. So in those instances, it is a better use of the management's time to focus on building the business and let folks that are professionals at raising capital do exactly that.
From MJBulls Media, it's the Raising Cannabis Capital Show. Today we're continuing our series on things to know when raising cannabis capital. And to help us with that, we have Sumit Mehta and Brent Johnson from Mazakali to share their insights from an investment banker's perspective. Hey, Sumit and Brent, how are you guys doing today?
Doing well. Fantastic, Dan.
Thanks for being on the MJBulls podcast. You know, this is going to sound like a really dumb question to start this off, but what exactly do investment bankers do?
Very simply put, we help companies raise capital, and we help investors place capital.
Like, at what stage should a company that's considering raising capital, what stage do they bring you in?
The rungs of the capitalization ladder certainly move from self-funding to friends and family to maybe some angel investors. When companies have some traction, they have positioning in the marketplace, and they're looking for capital to expand. Typically between the bridge and series rounds is when they would start looking for outside assistance for those capital raises.
Define bridge for our listeners.
Sure. It's the round that typically connects what would be considered a series round to an angel funding round. And a company that's looking to bridge their capital needs until they get to that Series A raise are the companies that we're describing. So an example of a company we typically would work with is one that's raising north of $5 million with an intended dilution of no more than 25%.
So that's about the time that they should bring on a professional, people that do this for a living, to help them with this process. And one of the reasons, I'm just jumping ahead here, but one of the reasons I'm assuming is because we get into some pretty sophisticated stuff as you move up the ladder, as you said.
That's correct. There's also another reason, which is that the companies in those phases are typically growing extremely quickly, and raising meaningful capital can be a full-time job, as is a company that's growing very quickly. So in those instances, it is a better use of the management's time to focus on building the business and let folks that are professionals at raising capital do exactly that.
What are some of the things that you require them to do to get ready for the capital raise or the next raise?
Well, there's a host of services we provide our clients that would fall under the investment banking umbrella. Certainly, capital cadence capital planning and deal structuring are a very important part of what we do, but also building models and building pitch decks and understanding valuation and understanding the split on how best to raise equity, when best to raise equity, how much debt to add onto the balance sheet, and how to position the company out of the marketplace would all fall onto that list of things that we do with our clients.
So a lot of those things that normally would fall into the client's plate, you guys will take care of, like a pitch deck. I know that could be just putting together a pitch deck is very, very time consuming. And that's why working with an investment banking firm like Mazakali is very helpful and takes that pressure away. Is that correct?
Certainly, we come from finance backgrounds, and collectively we've spent over 100 years on Wall Street, and we understand and speak that language. We also have spent a lot of time in the cannabis space and have been investors and participants in it for years as well. So understanding both communities, understanding how to bridge what companies are trying to express with what investors understand is crucial in getting those conversations maturing to the point of investment.
Yeah, and you brought up a point that you are familiar with the cannabis industry. I suspect it's pretty important to make sure that you're working with one that has at least some experience in cannabis. Can you expand on that a little?
Well, cannabis is a true emerging market, and as such, it exhibits many of the qualities of emerging markets. Qualities such as fragmentation, fractionation, and certainly a large level of opacity of information. And when you have all of the restrictions placed on top of that with advertising and such, you have a marketplace that is rife for misinformation. You also have a marketplace, because of fragmentation, that has at least 12,000 licensed businesses and perhaps 20,000 unlicensed businesses. And when you have an industry that's growing at 27%, it doubles in size every 32 months.
Wow.
And so if we're looking at 32,000 businesses that are all growing at a very fast clip, we're also looking at 32,000 investment opportunities. And it is crucially important for folks to understand the industry, understand the moving parts, and understand where the best use of capital is in order to do service to the investors who are ultimately providing the fuel that's gonna build this plane.
I want to take a minute to tell you about some really innovative things that our sponsor, Cream of the Crop, is doing in the cannabis space. Their brand is on fire. They have the 5th best-selling indoor flower brand in the state, and they're profitable, growing their business at 10% a month year to date. They're succeeding by helping cultivators turn profits through operation management and consulting in exchange for supply agreements. By bringing 30-plus years of cultivation experience, award-winning genetics, ultra-efficient SOPs, proprietary nutrient mixes, and their brand, they're able to help both operators who are new to the space and ones who want to just increase efficiency. In fact, they just increased profits for one of their clients by $700,000 per month. Just incredible. But what's really exciting is that they're expanding their highly scalable model beyond California. That's right, they're accepting applications across the country for 2021 and 2022 partnerships. Also, if you're planning to invest in cannabis, you should definitely look at Cream of the Crop because they're doing a capital round in early 2021 to help with their brand's national expansion. To learn more about partnering with Cream of the Crop or investing in their expansion, go to creamofthecropgardens.com. That's creamofthecropgardens.com. So after a deal is closed, is there a role for post-closing for an investment banker?
Yeah, it's actually, once the deal is closed, often these companies are raising money in multiple raises. And so we definitely stay in close contact with the company. They typically have additional capital advisory needs, which we assist with. And assuming that we successfully raise money for a company, they likely engage us for future raises. So it's certainly a long-term relationship.
So in other words, once they start down the track of raising capital, it's not a one and done deal. Usually there are second, third, fourth rounds that need assistance.
Yeah, again, it just depends on how the company's growing, how fast it's growing, how their revenues are growing. But yeah, typically there are, like Sumit said earlier, there are the earlier fundraisers, friends and family, angel money, some seed money. But it's not unusual for a company to do a Series A, Series B, maybe even a Series C before they either get acquired or take the company public.
So before we wrap, can you tell us a little bit more about Mazakali and how our listeners can get in touch with you if they have any questions?
Sure. Our website is certainly the best place to learn more about our company. Mazakali is a cannabis investment banking platform. We publish research under the term green papers. Those are all also available on our website. Our intent is certainly to help listeners get educated and get advised and ultimately get invested.
Your email address is sumit@mazakali.com. Well, all this information will be on the MJBulls website, and if anybody has any questions, I'm sure Sumit will be happy to get back to you. Sumit and Brett, thanks so much for demystifying the world of investment banking for our listeners.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan, and thanks for all you do for the industry.
Crappie's Feel Better Company is a cannabinoid CPG company with a line of easy-to-use CBG, CBD, and CBN products built for the weekend warriors, the weekday Zoomers, and anyone in between. Crappie's next-gen products incorporate pharmaceutical-derived chemistry to precisely blend minor cannabinoids and terpenes, creating a series of proprietary formulas for hyper-targeted use cases. Harnessing a team of experts with over 75 combined years of chemistry experience, the company relies on its novel solubility technology, state-of-the-art delivery, consistent results, and unique eye-catching branding to stand out from the crowd. Crappie's executive team and chemists have created a vast and diverse product pipeline to maintain relevance in a saturated market. To find out how you can participate in Crappie's Feel Better expansion, which includes major retail placements, university-executed clinical trials, IP and patent submissions, GMP and API scale-up, and international distribution, go to crappiesfeelbetter.com or on Instagram at crappiesfeelbetter. Today's show was made possible by the generous support of our sponsors, like Alt36, the country's premier blockchain payment processing platform that's providing dispensaries and its customers with a safe and secure payment option other than cash. To learn more, go to alt36.com.